So the Wally fat people, the reason why, if you weren't there and you heard that and you said that, this is my theory. I would love nothing more than if I go the last 7 days, I go to my all products and you click on this one here. I would love nothing more than to drive this to a page to tell you about the story of Paul, or even the story about how Cindy had just horrible back and skin issues. And I would love to tell you about that. The problem is you're not going to click on this ad because you don't care that much enough to take the next 15 minutes out of your day to go read a story. Not really. But can you move your thumb up a little bit and click the see more button? Okay, good. I got you there, because this is who I'm, unfortunately, all of us, I'm included. I sit on the couch and I doom scroll. I am the Wally fat people. We all are. Unfortunately, it used to be the email was a currency. Give me your email and I'll give you more information. Now it's, can you please click? That's how lazy everyone got, because it's just a feed-based world now.
So true. All right. Brian has a question for John.
The YouTube
he was
feeder.
So early.
I know.
He showed up like 10. I got on like 10 minutes early. He had already asked his question. So
I was going to say, his question came in before our start time, I think.
I was like, it was 4 or 5 minutes before we actually started. Right. All right. Hi, John. Any results from the YouTube feeder you were testing a few months ago? Good question. Sequence, campaign, CPM, CPV, demand gen, CPA. Thanks.
So unfortunately, no. Okay. The only reason why I think it did is because demand gen, I could not spend enough comfortably in that for it to overtake the immense amount of traffic that comes from social channels. And simply because, in my opinion, unless you've spent a lot of time, effort, and energy, days, weeks, months, maybe even years building out a really solid YouTube campaign performance, there's not enough for YouTube demand gen to do this. As a quick example, I'll use my own company. So if I said, hey, this is what my sessions by social referrer did this year. We're up to now 2.3 million in users for Facebook that have come to the site. Demand gen says, all right, any ad spend you give me, I got to go there first. Mm-hmm. And with feeder on Google, and because Google is so extremely warm, we said, hey, we're going to launch and get 100,000 YouTube visitors. Okay. And then demand gen, you're going to go up to that 100,000 YouTube visitors and you're going to start to remarket to them. And demand gen, basically what we thought was, okay, we said, okay, a lot of people coming in on the, what you said is the CPM and CPV campaigns, and then demand gen is going to retarget it. What demand gen just did is like this. All right, I'm just going to bypass what YouTube's doing. I'm going to go right up to that 3 million or 2.3 million up there coming from Meta. Meta's feeding me. So it's like, well, crap. What is the largest signal of users coming to the site? Meta typically is the best because Google priced themselves out of the market. You want a $15 click or $15,000 impressions. Well, Google can't feed itself users to the tag as much because YouTube is going to show views. But the problem is the demand gen feeder says, okay, you got a lot of YouTube views, or I got like 78 people that are adding something to cart right now. And demand gen would just hover to Meta. So yes, you could do a demand gen feeder for Google, but your primary indicator of traffic, you have to spend more on YouTube feeder than you are on Facebook for that to be a larger signal. And unfortunately, YouTube is just too poor of a network to beat Facebook, unfortunately.
Yeah. Although it's very top of funnel. Like you would think that it would work. Like it.
The problem is you said, hey, pause your $3 million on Meta spend. I'm going to test YouTube for a minute. They're like, no.
Why?
Right. So that was it. It's like, okay, we got 3 million spend. I'm not shutting it off. So either take this or try to figure out how to get YouTube to at least 3 million. It just wasn't never going to work.
Yeah, it's never going to work.
Yep.
Good question, though. All right. Mehmet has a question. Hi, Tier 11. Have a luxury bedding company. The product prices are between $1,000 and $2,200 and have 100 USD a budget for now. What should I do? PMAX shopping Meta or Meta.
All right.
And he loves the videos. I think my 6-year museum, and you guys are the best. I appreciate that, Mehmet.
That's awesome.
That's a small budget. So, I have to say that's probably $100 a day, as I'm guessing.
Here's what I would say. Luxury bedding company, AOV's high, time lag's probably 2 weeks. 1,000, 2,200. Yeah, you're probably, well, maybe not 2 weeks. Total time lag, I would say you're probably more like 6 to 10 days on the low and high side of those AOVs. My opinion, and I don't know what your existing customers are, and I don't know what your brand name is in terms of how popular it is, but I would first start off with nothing but 2 campaigns. I would do $50 a day in a feed-only non-brand PMAX. And then I would do $50 a day in a DPA only Facebook Andromeda. Those two are the safest starting points to say
that's a good mix.
You can overlap with each other's users.
Yep.
They're shopping, so it's extremely bottom of the funnel, but we don't have enough money to even enter the middle funnel.
Yep.
So you're basically capturing all of your buyers that you possibly can with remarketing efforts on both channels with minimum ad spend, and that AOV means that your one sale in 2 weeks pays for the whole campaign. That would be my starting point.
Right. So say it again. The campaign setup was, I got
$50 a day.
$50 a day.
A feed only, non-brand, brand excluded PMAX.
Yep.
And a $50 a day Andromeda model, one campaign, one ad spend, no inclusions or exclusions in targeting, no bid or no cost cap. But in performance, or in Andromeda, in an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, now called Advantage Sales campaign, but that is only going to use DPA, dynamic product ads. Those two can react to all organic traffic, direct email. It will prospect. It will remarket itself. It's like shopping ads on both networks to the best of the ability, going to most, hopefully, new customers only. But again, I don't know your brand. I don't know CAPI imports. With that ad spend, I wouldn't even recommend CAPI imports because you're going to spend all your monthly ad spend on the CAPI import service. But I would say those two are the start off: a feed only PMAX non-brand and a DPA campaign ASC inside of Andromeda. Those two would be a very, very good shopping coverage for both networks.
DPAs are extremely good at picking up site traffic and targeting the exact right product and or products that are, I don't know how many, SKUs he has there between 1,000 to 2,200 as his price point. But the point is like DPAs will scoop all that traffic up and direct it to the right product.
And everyone bored that is thinking about buying betting is going to be reminded every day as they're sitting on the couch watching TV. Hey, remember the betting? Hey, remember the betting? Hey, remember And if they do any sort of searches, Google's going to be over there buying search, shopping, YouTube, GSP, Discover, Display. Want to buy our betting? Want to buy our betting? And they will overlap with each other 80% of the time. You're getting full coverage on both channels for $100.
Totally. And optimize your feed as much as you possibly can.
Oh yeah.
That's the key. It's one of the things that everyone overlooks.
Please do not name the title of your pillowcase inspiration. No one looks for that shit when looking
Nobody
for
looks for it. Yes. Be like a fourth grader. Literally. Yeah.
Comfy bed, red, 1,000 thread count. Awesome.
Really good. No, don't even put that in there.
Fun time, yeah.
Speaking of good, Beardpreneur is here. He is here on time. He is our spy.
Thank God we didn't do this again today.
He's here. It's about time he showed up on time, too. All right. Anyway, love that guy. Inderdeep has a question. Hi, John. My lead gen search campaign is on TROAS at 150%. Positions are good, but CPCs are very volatile. So how do we really scale up the campaign as traffic remains almost the same and CPCs go up?
Yeah. So the only issue that you have right now is because lead gen on search, you are taking the most expensive campaign and it will become much more expensive. Unfortunately, for search to scale up, you need two factors. You need more aggressive and more often, which means your ad spend per day has to go up, but also your CPC has to go up just due to Google's price fixing, unfortunately. You don't really, but Google will make you because it says if you want to overtake a higher position more often, I'm going to charge you for it. Oh, do you want to be there more often during the day to actually have your traffic increase? I'm going to charge you for it. So 100% increase in spend and sometimes a 50% increase in CPC means that you're now paying twice as much for half of the incremental additional traffic. Yeah. So it's not like 100% more spend gets 100% more users. Sometimes 100% more spend can get 10% more users because your CPCs went up 90%. So in my opinion, with a TROAS being an inbound search, my question to you is, do you have to only be within Google? And do you have to only be within Google search? Is this something that you could do lead gen on a prospecting campaign, i.e. demand gen or Meta? Is there something else that we can use? Because unfortunately, there is no way around Google's price fixing. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company that gets deposed in front of Congress, and they literally give Congress a middle finger by saying, yeah, we'll spike up CPCs if we need to make earnings. Like they're bold-faced, not even lie. They're bold-faced telling you how they're screwing you. So you do unfortunately have to pay that price. I have not found a way to actually allow myself manual CPC, all that stuff, feeder strategy in order to get that big growth. But because Google says think that person's going to convert, they just crank up the CPC on that user. You're kind of screwed buying price fixed conversions because Google no longer sells traffic. They sell you leads and they sell you sales, and They just name their own price for those things.
Yeah.
So if you say, here's what I'm willing to pay, you're going to get what you're going to get. Unfortunately, you're going to have to increase your cost in order to do so. But first thing I would do is take your TROAS of 150, drop it down to 40%. That'd be the first thing. What you're doing is you're telling Google, I know you may have a prejudice against unknown users. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and do it anyway. Which means if you can say, I have enough ad spend to go after who I want. Well, you do have also enough ad spend to go after who you don't want, or who you don't think is going to happen. And that may actually be because you were prejudiced against them. So before you just start scaling up the ad spend at a really tight TROAS, which tells Google, bid harder for the people you know, that will not increase your traffic. That just pays more for the conversions they're going to sell you anyway. So drop your TROAS and say, you know what, explore the people you weren't going to and see how that works. If that works, then you can get a little bit more incremental and then scale up. When you scale up spend, yes, CPC will go up, but if you remain first and you're no longer prejudiced to that first position users, conversion rate can go up and those two cancel each other out.
Got it. Makes sense. Interdeep has a follow-up here. As per your experience in lead gen, do you think we should put pricing on the landing page or not? And we're in a premium segment. I'd love to hear your answer on that.
I would run a Google Ads experiment inside the platform to 2 different landing pages and see what the difference is in terms of lead flow. I would also only do, obviously it's lead gen, so you're looking at lead flow. Do this, do no price, and then the other one say starting at. Because if the starting at price scares people off, you have a bigger issue than just traffic at this point right now.
I also found, we just recently did a test, that when you put the money that you're going to save, it turns people off. So I'd be very interested to see how much, how this actually works.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those great questions. Like there's a Confessions of a Pricing Man, by the way, great book about all about pricing. The point is, I know you don't read books, but you know, maybe watch a video or something like that.
That might help.
It's like pricing is one of the most overlooked things. Like, where do I put it? Well, how do I price it? I mean, obviously everyone's got gross profitability, net profitability goals. Hopefully they do. Otherwise, they're probably not going to stay in business too long. But it's like, how do you price and where do you put it on the page? Like, this is a great question by Interdeep. So do it, run a test and get back to us on that one. He's got one more question here. We use CAPI with lead gen on Meta to optimize the bookings, but with conversion, I couldn't get bookings matched back to the campaign it came in. Have you ever done this? If yes, please help me. How?
Yeah, if you're doing CAPI with lead gen on Meta, and I would like to know what CAPI you're using. Because if it's edge tagged CAPI, that shouldn't have an issue. If it's JavaScript deployed CAPI, absolutely, that will not match. Unfortunately, because the fingerprinting breaks. So here's what happens. If it's not edge tagged, every user is individual. So the second click that you tracked and the third click that you tracked may be 2 different people. And so if you're saying like, hey, I'm going to import the first one on the second one and they're not matching, that's because it's not the same user. So I would say that edge tags fingerprints those back together. And that's where you can import and have a much higher match rate. Because if it's not JavaScript, every user is actually kind of individual. And that's when it's like, well, that didn't match what actually happened and it just won't show up.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if it's not edge tagged, I would have a question about that first.
Yeah, make sure.
The Wally fat people. Yeah.
Wally fat people, which is basically what advertising has become.
So I actually leveraged that. I'm going to give everyone a half a second FYI. So the Wally fat people, the reason why, if you weren't there and you heard that and you said that, this is my theory. And this is actually kind of my theory, even for like this year.
There he was.
And I'll share with you exactly right. Like I would love nothing more than if I go the last 7 days and go to my all products and you click on this one here. I would love nothing more than to drive this to a page to tell you about the story of Paul. And or even, you know, the story about how Cindy had, you know, just horrible back and skin issues. And I would love to tell you about that. The problem is you're not going to click on this ad because you don't care that much enough to take the next 15 minutes out of your day to go read a story. Not really. But can you move your thumb up a little bit and click the see more button? Okay, good. I got you there because this is who I'm, unfortunately, all of us, I'm included. I sit on the couch and I doom scroll. I am the Wally fat people. We all are, unfortunately. And so it used to be.
Make it easy.
You're right. It used to be the email was a currency. Give me your email and I'll give you more information. Now it's, can you please click? That's how lazy everyone got because it's just a feed-based world now.
So true. Oh my God. I mean, it like you think like, oh, that's ridiculous, but it is actually true. And it's a great analogy because we've all become that way.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, you could have done a ellipsis, like a dot, and then have your learn more, and then your URL. That's what we used to do to get people off Facebook.
Yeah.
That's before we all became incredibly lazy. That does not work anymore. You need to put the goods in the newsfeed. You really
exactly
do.
Right. Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for reminding us of that concept there, Beard
Yeah.
This is a great question here. Have you tested using Andromeda content diversification style ads for YouTube sequence campaigns?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've been trying to make YouTube work really every which way, shape, and form you can imagine. YouTube will work if your audience is there, and if your audience isn't there, YouTube looks like it works. And that's the big issue is if the people are not there, it will just attribute view engage conversions because they just happen to be on the feed when they went to YouTube, and that counted as an impression. Okay, I'm going to give you all a really, really horrible fact. Demand gen uses what they call the feed. And that is something that is very, very, very well known. It's in your channel. It's in the feed. Now, here's what I did is I just opened up an incognito YouTube window, okay? If your demand gen is running to an audience and I go to YouTube and I go to the top and I type in funny cats, right here. Okay, because your ad was right here.
Yeah.
And I just click search. Okay, and now I'm looking at funny cats. If your ad was right there in the feed and I didn't even realize it was there, and I just go and look at my funny cat and leave, and then 8 o'clock tonight, I get an abandoned cart email and I click on it and buy it, YouTube took 100% credit. A view engage conversion from the feed.
Yeah.
How tell me how you grow a campaign when it's like, haha, they made it to YouTube. They made it to YouTube homepage. That is mine. I did all of that. 100% me.
Yeah.
That's what I said is YouTube unfortunately has priced themselves out of actually growing businesses and companies because they've taken such a selfish, vindictively, manipulatively way to get your money. That's my opinion. I've been a Google person for over a decade, and I've seen it just decay into absolute, pardon my French, dog shit. Yeah. So when if I could go to Google and say, can you just not do that a little bit? Maybe let's be more realistic. And if they would listen, I would dump millions into YouTube. But they literally just find any which way, shape, and form to steal from you, the media buyer, from the channels that you're performing. They find a way to steal, and then they double down on it by saying it's platform comparable. See, we showed an ad to somebody somewhere sometime. It must have been us 100% of the time. Meta does that. Yeah. Well, yes, the idiot that just takes full meta attribution for face value. Congratulations, you've now tricked them too. Once that life cycle dies off, what do you do now? Right. And that's once it's come out in the open about how both platforms are over attributing, they got NORP, Wiggle Reports, Triple Whale, all of these third-party metrics come into play. But that also is now just further confusing the media buyer and the client. So until they get their shit together, I'm not really using YouTube.
But video sequencing, you're still using that. Correct me if I'm wrong. We do have a couple more questions, but anyway, I didn't want to completely discount YouTube. You are using it in some cases. Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't track any conversion. I think after $500,000 in spend on YouTube sequencing, I tracked three conversions. Three conversions. Now I measure it top line, but if the problem is if I warm up audiences and then someone else's demand gen goes and steals that customer from me because I made them a conversion-based now user. My non-conversion-based bidding strategies doesn't go after that person harder. I just developed a warm audience for someone else's conversion-based campaign to start scooping it up. Right. But I can't run MMM like that. Yeah. No. Doesn't make sense. Right. Great question. Long answer, but great answer. Sorry about that. That's all right. 33 Big Money's got a question. I'm working on a new storage space business with 2 locations in central New York City. Wow. Didn't realize Big Money was in New York City. Nice. What would you recommend for Google ads and Meta ads? I would honestly start off only with a Performance Max with local enabled. That Performance Max with local enabled, hook up your Google My Business, build a Google My Business profile for both storage spaces, run that there. That will help take care of all of your traffic. Run only a 15-mile radius max, maybe 10-mile radius, because New York City is very, very densely populated and no one's going to travel an hour to go 10 miles in New York City. So maybe 2-mile radius to start. I mean, 2 miles. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, really tight.
And then I would also run a Andromeda, style one campaign, one asset, no feeder, obviously, because it is, but do a bunch of showcase about every real reason why you have a competitive and advantage, a value, a benefit, and a cost benefit and unique selling proposition than everyone else. Come to my storage place, because if there's a dead cat there, it smells like crap and you might get mugged. That's not going to work. Come to my storage space. We have twice the amount of room, twice the amount of ceilings, air conditioning, custom lights, keyless entry, 24-hour service, security. That's what you do the ads for.
Free boxes.
There you go.
Yeah, seriously, like that's the thing people need in storage space, like free boxes, or like do some kind of special, like 20 boxes for $10 or whatever it happens to be,
and spend 50-50 on both to start until you can do an MMM model where you can push harder on one and identify it.
Good stuff. Good luck on that big money, by the way. That's pretty cool. Interdeep has a follow-up. I think this is our last one we can do today. When I dropped TROAS by 40%, I did try that CPCs were astronomically high. It didn't make sense, as there was no way we could be profitable at that CPC. That is, I think, a follow-up to this one here.
Yeah. So essentially what that means is that if you dropped your TROAS down to 40% and your CPCs exploded, it means that you pretty much have acquired all available users that campaign will use. Now, if you leave it on for about 2 to 3 months, you're going to see a massive changeover this way. What you have to do is, because you're dropping the TROAS, the immediate targeting of all the users does not get, it doesn't widen. What it does is says, hey, you go harder to the known audiences. It has to market to those people, which I would normally suggest doing your budget per day, not your TROAS. People would like to manage the amount of volume that happens in an account by adjusting TROAS and leaving their budget static. I reverse it. I use a low TROAS because I don't want to be less or more aggressive on my new customer. I always want high amount of aggressiveness, high CPCs. I just will not want to spend that much per day. So I will bring in 10 more high quality for every 50 medium quality by using that model. And then if that starts to work, better conversion rates, maybe a shorter sales cycle, maybe a more profitable customer. And then I will increase my budget, but I will keep my aggressiveness level on those new customers. I want aggressive. I want that top of position. I want that first position. I want that top of page. I want that expensive CPC, because that's where all the magic happens. I'm just not going to start blasting to the moon immediately there. You work your way into their budget.
Makes sense.
I do have to jump now, though. I'm so sorry.
We do have to go, but we are cooking up a lot of chaos in the performance kitchen here. Thank you so much for attending the Ad Lab. We will be back same time, same channel, 2:30 Eastern next Friday. Me and John go cook some blue meth, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go make some more meth. I'm taking this at 3 a.m. Can you tell?
No, not at all. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.